So there's been a lot of talk as to whether the Premier League is actually any good in this 2019-20 season. Some people saying that Liverpool are only winning the league by so much because literally everybody else is shocking. But is it actually that bad? I mean, it is absolutely tragic, to be fair. But basically, I want to work out in this video whether the Premier League is absolutely awful or whether Liverpool are just actually really good. Now, disclaimer, for those that don't know or aren't subscribed to the channel already, you should definitely do that, in my opinion, because there's like some really top quality content that goes up on the channel like all of the time. But the disclaimer is, before we get into this video, that I myself am a Liverpool fan. But please don't go. I have a family to feed. Now, I know a lot of you were turned off by that because you think I'm going to be biased or deluded, and I could see your fingers itching to press that left mouse clicker, or I don't know what button you were going to press. I'm not a mind reader. I do understand that some of the teams in the league have been shocking. Don't worry, I swear to you, I'm not deluded. This is just a discussion video. So anyway, the backstory to this season so far. I think it's fair to say that Liverpool actually came into it as underdogs because we didn't spend any money really in the transfer window. We just brought in Sepp van den Berg, who was like a prospect player, whereas Manchester City summer, they brought in a couple of reinforcements and actually strengthened the side. They already looked significantly better than us last year, even though there was only 1 point between us. It was very close at the start. City asserted some dominance with an 8-0 win over Watford, but then it started to drift away from them, and we started to pick up the pace and actually continue the good run, whereas City was stumbling. City continued to struggle into December and January, and now we find ourselves with a points lead higher than Mikel Antonio's driver's license. But is that a story of us being really, really good, or a story of the rest of the top six being the worst they've ever been? A lot of media outlets are saying it's the latter. A lot of fans on Twitter are saying it's the latter because they hate us. I realise that. Now, Manchester City are first up in this analysis, and if I was to compare their season to anything, I'd probably compare it to a ready meal jalfrezi curry. At first, you think it's going to be spicy, flavoursome, and really pack a punch. Then as you go along, you realise it's really not that great. And like the stomach contents it causes, it has pretty shocking consistency. Like, honestly, it was shocking. You didn't even want to see it. The whole bathroom was a write-off. They've dropped some very questionable points during the course of this season, including gifting Cenk Tosun a beautiful debut for Crystal Palace. The man looks like a window cleaner more than a footballer, and has the ability of a window cleaner more than a footballer. But in fairness to them, on the flip side, they scored 100 points in 2017-18, scored 98 points in 2018-19. It was always going to be very, very difficult for them to keep that momentum going into a third year. But at the same time, Pep Guardiola with that team should not be 22 points behind Liverpool with our team. Now, Leicester are the only ones here that I would actually say have overperformed to any sort of degree at all. Now, if you told me during the whole drama of Nigel Pearson's son being involved in Thai lady boys on holiday that Leicester would have won the league and then looked comfortable in third a couple of seasons later, I'd have probably questioned you on why Nigel Pearson's son was doing that with Thai lady boys, actually thinking about it. It's a shame for Leicester because they've dropped off in form quite dramatically during the course of like the recent months. There was a key game where they lost against City. I think it was 3-1, and since then they've just not looked the same side. We beat them 4-0. Chelsea are a difficult one. They've had a transfer embargo going into this season. The average age of their squad is 14 and a half. There's year 9s that can get into that team. They don't work on squad ability, they work on catchment area. And with that, is this kind of what we expected from them? Maybe not necessarily to be in fourth, but if you look at the points tally and the record that they've had during the course of this season, I think it's pretty much on par with what we would have said at the start of the campaign. Sheffield United are 5th, and wait, what in the... How in the hell? Tottenham have literally sent Jose Mourinho into boldness, and if that doesn't sum it up, then I don't know what will. They have had an absolute shocker. And again, like City, keeping up momentum of getting to a Champions League final and all of the energy that Maurizio Pochettino asked the players to put into their seasons recently has taken its toll, but dear God, they are bad. Not so much anymore, but at the start of the season under Maurizio Pochettino, they were genuinely in an early season relegation battle, unlike their North London rivals, who we'll get onto in a moment, who are in a mid-season relegation battle. If I was to give ratings during the course of the season, Pochettino probably gets a 0 out of 10. Mourinho has since raised the stakes to a 6 out of 10. Over at Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is firmly at the wheel. I'm convinced that Rio Ferdinand's speech on BT Sport has cursed the entirety of Manchester. Originally, it was just Manchester United, and now Manchester City have been caught in the crossfire of these shambolic shenanigans. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is currently a fish out out of water. Even more so than out of water. It's literally, the fish is in the sky. It is 15,000 kilometers away from its natural habitat. And overall, goal scoring wise right now, with Rashford out, they are literally relying on Odion Igalo. I just can't take it seriously. So on the face of it, I would say Man City, Spurs, and Manchester United are underperforming right now. And then the other two out of the top six, I would say Chelsea are on par with what I would expect for them this season at the start of it, and Leicester are actually overperforming. The problem is it's quite hard to see that right now because they're both in shocking form. But are these teams actually poor? Visibly, yes, I'm not gonna lie. Like, on the face of it, they do seem it. If you took the United team that is currently playing in the Premier League and versed it against the 2010 version, they would get peppered. It would be like year 7s v year 11s on the playground. It's not a football match. The year 11s are just confiscating the football. Chelsea are the same as well. The likes of Drogba, Essien, Frank Lampard. He might even get in the starting 11 these days. It's alright, lads, don't worry. We're 1-0 down, but I'm getting the shin pads on. And for Arsenal this time 10 years ago, they were bottling a 4-0 lead against Newcastle. So from that perspective, I would say that only really Manchester City and Leicester have got better in that time. I think Leicester were in League One, so... And if you compare the Premier League to the other top 5 leagues in Europe, it's just a catastrophe. It's awful. Obviously, in the distance between Liverpool and Manchester City, it's 22 points. You look at La Liga, you've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, Getafe, Sevilla, Valencia, Atletico Madrid, Villarreal, Real Sociedad, Athletic Bilbao, Granada, Osasuna, and Real Betis in that time frame. Osasuna would be second in the Premier League if they were based in England and not in Osasuna. Is Osasuna even a place? This isn't how this argument works. I'm getting distracted. The Bundesliga is mental. Bayern Munich, Leipzig, Dortmund, Mönchengladbach, Leverkusen, Schalke, Hoffenheim, Freiburg, Wolfsburg, Augsburg, an iceberg. All the bergs, they're all within 22 points of the leaders. But at the same time, comparing the English clubs to the European clubs in a direct fashion, all 4 of the English clubs in the group stages of the Champions League have progressed to the round of 16. And even as recently as last year, the Champions League was all English, and so was the Europa League. And after one of them, I got really quite drunk. Oh, that's not relevant. Oh, okay, sorry. Like, really I mentioned how good a lot of the teams were 10 years ago, you know, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal. But were we just spoiled during that era? Is it just rose-tinted glasses and nostalgia? Even last year, the only difference was the fact that it was both City and Liverpool that were miles ahead of everybody else. There's actually a great stat from a guy called Joel Rabinovitz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The average points after 25 games over the last 5 seasons has seen first place beyond 60 points, second place beyond 52, and third place beyond 50. This season, Liverpool are on 73, which is 13 above average. City are on 51, which is just 1 below average. And Leicester on 49, which is just 1 below average. So it's not that the other people who were in the title race are terrible. They're only very marginally below average. It's just that Liverpool are miles clear of it. Apparently, according to Joel, it's actually 4th, 5th, and 6th that are massively underperforming. So that's Chelsea, Sheffield United, and Spurs. I'm sorry to Sheffield United. I don't know how you've been dragged into this underperforming shit show given how you're doing. All I can ask is that if Chris Wilder is watching, please don't hunt me down and smack me in the face with a Carling can. As far as the table overall is concerned, first place are overperforming, second and third are doing okay, 4th down to 6th are underperforming. The rest of the table is then on average, apart from the guys in the relegation battle who are actually doing better than average. So the league as it stands is basically a bit of a combo of the better teams getting worse and the worst teams getting better. This is what we want. We want the league to close up, if anything. It's just a shame that Liverpool aren't actually going along with that memo. I don't know, it must have got lost in a post or something. Flipping Hermes. They can never deliver anything. So in conclusion, is the league actually bad? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that the likes of City, Spurs, Manchester United arguably should be doing better than they are and providing more of a challenge for Liverpool, at least on a game-by-game basis, even if it's not the title race. But then equally, second and third aren't really that far below average for the last 5 seasons. The rest of the league, in terms of the lower half of it, has gotten better. That's what's catching most of the big clubs out. And Liverpool just are better than everybody else. They're actually just good. So overall, it's a combination of the answers given at the start of the video, which is just the most Niran thing ever. I'm sat on the fence. This is a massive cop-out. But let me know what you think about what I've said in this video, what you think about the league this season. Do you think the quality's bad? I'm not going to get annoyed if you say it is. I think to some extent it is, but not as bad as everyone's making it out. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, then slap a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let me know what you thought about this style of video as well, because it's a bit different. More FTW, that's new, exciting, oh my god. And finally, if you want to follow me on social media, you can do. It's at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.